Today we are going to be putting the 2 ranchos I got from Goldfish Kingdom into their forever home, which is my 230-gallon pond. They've just come out of an 8-week quarantine. During their quarantine, I had them in raised salinity for 3 weeks, and then I did a 35-day praziquantel treatment. While I never saw any cause for concern, I like to gently preventatively treat new fish. In my experience of my own and watching others, there's a lot of risk when introducing new fish into an aquarium or pond. In order to minimize it, I like to do an 8-week quarantine and, like I said, raise the salinity and do a prazi treatment, just so that if there is an issue when I do introduce the fish, I know that I've done everything that I can do. And beyond that, that's just fate, and I can live with that. In my short year of keeping goldfish, I've had a lot go wrong, and I've learned from a lot of it, but I think the main thing that I've learned that has just helped me stay sane is it is what it is, and you can only do so much. So I really try my hardest to make sure that I've done everything on my end so that when I do introduce a new fish, I even go so far as to exchange microbes between the established pond and the quarantine tank after the 8 weeks of quarantine have been completed. Meaning I will take a pitcher, like a gallon of water from my quarantine tank, as I've done here with these 2 females about 3 days ago. I started putting water into the pond from the quarantine tank, and I then also exchanged water from the pond into the quarantine tank. So the 2 sets of fish could get used to each other's microbes so that when I did mix them, there would be even less of a chance of an issue, such as incompatible bacteria, when they've had a chance to kind of adjust to each other's foreign bacteria without the fish actually present. Something new that I introduced into my quarantine process was something I did about a week and a half ago because of a possible issue with another fish that I had. It ended up not being the issue, but I did go ahead and order Hexshield by New Life Spectrum, and it treats for internal parasites. So when I bought that medication for a different fish, I went ahead and decided to feed it to these 2 ranchos, just again, preventatively before they went into the pond. That gave me some extra peace of mind. I've never done that before, and I exclusively feed live and frozen food with the occasional Rapashi gel food maybe once a week. So this was my first time feeding goldfish pellets in the year that I've kept goldfish. So I felt good about the reason behind feeding pellets, and I felt good about what they were doing internally. Again, with my peace of mind, introducing new fish, and if something bad were to happen, it was another check off the list of things that I could have done that were within my control. My pond is 230 gallons, and prior to adding these 2 ranchos, there were 8 fish. About 6 of them are very young, about 3-inch sized fish, and there are 2 larger fish from King Koyan Goldfish, a rancho and a demican, that have been with us for about a year. So the introduction of these new fish make 10 total. I don't intend to add more to my stock for this 230-gallon pond unless I move my any of my red and white ranchos from my 75-gallon tank in the future as they possibly outgrow the tank itself. But for now, I think I'm going to stick with the 10 in the pond. So we are looking forward to adding plants back to the pond come spring in a couple of weeks here when the sun is in full blast. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I'm hopeful that these 2 new ranchos don't have any issues, nor do any of the residents that have been in there for the last year. So time will tell, and hopefully I will be doing maybe a 1-month update after everyone has settled, and I can have a just a more thorough follow-up to this video. Lastly, I just wanted to say thanks again to Goldfish Kingdom. This process with these fish has been super smooth all the way through, and it's just been a delight. So I'm super pleased to have them in the pond, and